So much, Sherard, for coming on, Joe, today, and talking with me, and also being a part of the magazine. I want to say I've known you for some time now, a very long time, and I was just thinking I've never. This is like we first time we ever done Zoom because back when we first met, it was we didn't do that kind of stuff.
That's correct, because it was pre-COVID, so that's very true.
Uh-huh. It's been a long, long time. So
Me
I wanted
too.
to ask, just jumping right into it. I've known you for doing the fashion model.
Uh-huh.
You were really
Uh-huh.
doing the modeling when I met you.
Right.
And then you had your own line, like clothing line. You know, you had your shoes. You
Right,
had,
right. Yeah, I did the clothing line, and
uh-huh.
I had my shoe line.
Mm-hmm.
I used to own my own modeling agency actually down in Chicago too.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that. And then you had candy.
Yes, the Sherard Sharpe candy bar, you remember.
Yeah, so my question to you is how did that spark? How did you get into all of that? Everyday person just doesn't they might think it but don't pursue it. But you actually did it. So tell me about that.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I actually started the television show business in 2010 in Chicago, at W.L. Lillard's place in 86 in Cottage Grove. But that was after years of modeling and traveling the world being a fashion model. So I had a pretty built up a pretty interesting story and client list of some of my experiences. So I started on television show there, and it was interesting because the young lady there who was running the television network was saying everything is going to be going online, and at that time I felt that hard to believe. I'm like, wait a minute, everybody's watching console television,
Hmm.
but she was absolutely right, and so it just led to me being able to share my story and have celebrities to come on the show and talk about their experiences with me and things like that. So then the Sherard Show became a brand, thank God. So I just really wanted to, do something beneficial for the industry as well as my experience. So, I started my own Sherard Show shoe line and the candy bar line. And the
Hmm.
first thing was the cologne line. That was the very first
Yes. Okay. Uh-huh.
fragrance. And then it went on from there. And, now I spend my time, just basically getting the brand out there, but also, raising money for the fight for the cure for lupus.
Now, if you ever known, people wear do-rags to get their hair, laid and curled tight and all that. And we are talking to the actual real do-rag man, Sherard Sharpe. So you've been in it for 20 years, the do-rag man. Tell us about that experience and how did that happen?
That's very interesting you asked that because that started I was with a modeling agency and they wanted me for the do-rag thing. I was at the time I was working for the bank. I was working for a bank called LaSalle Bank, but I was doing the modeling and things like that. But
Mhm.
before the do-rag, I was on the perm box for like Luster and
Hmm.
products like that. But then they wanted me to do the face of the do-rag brand, which was called Dream hair product. So it was downtown Chicago, and I came down and stuff, so I had to do like about I don't know about 100 takes of different ones, and stuff. So I never know that it was going to be that big. It's
Hmm.
funny because it came out, the following year, and to this day, that was back in 2004, so 24 years ago. It's still in, I mean, and when I say all over the world, I mean it. It's in Iraq, Afghanistan, Dubai,
Wow.
it's in Russia, it's in Jamaica, it's out here. To this day, when I first moved out here, my little daughter at the time was, we went to a beauty supply stores, point out that's daddy, so to
Right.
this day, to be able to see it, on still on billboards and in Walgreens, Walmart, and all this
Hmm.
stuff. I still get texts at least once or twice a week, people showing me the do-rags.
That's so exciting. That's so exciting. That all happened right in Chicago.
Yes, that is
Mhm.
correct. That is correct. So, it's interesting because at that time, it was overwhelming because the do-rags came out, then I was modeling for WGN and Fox, and then, it was a Sherman Shoes commercial that came out. I don't know if they have
Hmm.
Sherman Shoes there. They used to have them in Chicago. I don't know if they had them in Ohio, but
Uh-huh. I remember Sherwin shoes.
yeah,
Sherwin shoes, right?
Sherman.
Oh no, I don't. I thought
There's a
so.
Sherman shoes. So they were very popular in the 80s and then they left and came back. But I did a national commercial with that. So that launched right during the do-rags and then all this other stuff. So covers of magazines. So it was quite a time.
Okay, yeah. So I want to ask, this is like a little sidebar. So I know you're from Chicago. And I know you probably worked with a lot of different people in Chicago. I want to just stay right there and talk about Chicago a little bit. So, some of the people that you work with or had on your show, can you tell us a little bit about some of the guests that you had while you were in Chicago?
Oh yeah, sure.
Mhm.
I had Barbara Bates on the show. She's one of the biggest modeling agency executives. She was one I had on the show. I had Eric Lane, who
Okay.
he was on Soul Food, and also
Hmm.
he starred alongside the late great Patrick Swayze, and he's in a lot of the different films and stuff. He was also on a film called One Week. That was what made him popular, very popular.
Okay.
So I had him on the show. And then I also had Herb Kent, Herb Kent,
Mhm.
one of the biggest, God rest his soul, biggest DJs of the time. As a matter of fact,
Mhm.
he was around when my parents were around. But it was an
Mhm.
honor having him on because I used to always listen to him, and he had a great book out. So having him on the show was really one of the greatest moments, of the show being in Chicago.
Okay. Speak on the book because we want people, we want our readers to pick up the book, and get it. And
Yeah, no problem, Joe. It was written by me, of course, but it was produced by Roughmore Media. I really appreciate them approaching me for the book deal to do my book. But Joe, the book comes from a personal place. It comes from me starting off in the modeling industry. First, growing up in Chicago, and what my background was, and things I've done, and then what inspired me, which was my mom, God rest her soul, to get into the fashion industry. And it was a very unique time. This was back in 1997. So just talking about the ups and downs of the industry and how racist it was, and just fulfilling a dream to be able to keep pushing, in spite of what the industry was telling Black people. Like, for
Mhm.
example, with Black people, oftentimes will tell you, you didn't have the look, your nose too broad, your skin's too dark, and the ladies, your waist is too wide or whatever. So just
Mhm.
being able to push through that and find your niche. And that's what the book talks about, finding your niche, not selling yourself, your soul to become rich. You
Mhm.
know, keep your integrity. If people want you to do certain things to become famous, and it's not ethically right, or it's something
Mhm.
that you can't sleep with yourself after you do it, don't do it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, and there's so many people that have got they're well paid, but they build up such a terrible reputation, or people are only casting them because they were on a casting couch. So I just encourage others to keep your integrity and your soul, and it's gonna come. It's
Mhm.
gonna come. Don't turn around and be something you're not just to make money, guy.
Mhm.
But we did a commercial in Regal Theater for Vibe magazine. It was the
Okay.
Vibe Live thing. So, just at 25 years old, seeing yourself in stores and magazines in New York and all this stuff, and when all this money coming in and stuff, being able to know what to do when it comes, and
Mhm.
who to trust, and that's one of the big things I talk about in my book as well.
Okay, yeah, yeah. One of the things I can say is that you are definitely an encourager. So I don't know, because you encouraged me from day one after you met me, and to keep doing what I'm doing. If I was having a hard time, I could call you and you would just help me out. So I'm sure in your book you have a little points in there to being positive and encouraging others to pursue.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. But Joe, you have such a beautiful magazine. I love your magazine, and it's so classy and upscale. So, and what you do is so great. And, I can't wait till you come out here to Los Angeles to visit or whatever, but it's just a beautiful thing you're doing. I'd be a fool not to encourage you to keep it going.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sherard. Thank you. So where can we pick the book up? Where can we
So
get it?
it's anywhere wherever fine books are sold. It's globally. It's in Barnes and Noble, Books a
Okay.
Million. It's on all the books to Amazon. But if you want an autograph copy, you can always reach out to me directly at the Sherard Show at gmail.com, and then I can get you an autograph copy
Okay. Okay.
for you if you liked as well.
Well, I will have to get my autograph copy, so I'll be reaching out for mine. So,
Okay. I got you. We will be starting a book tour soon. We're starting a book
okay.
tour this month, as a matter of fact, on the 7th here in Los Angeles. And then we hit the road to Chicago, New York, London, Toronto, and then the cities kind of from there.
Okay. That sounds awesome. So I'm so glad you took time to talk with me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited of our friendship, for so many years. So,
Likewise, Joe. Likewise, you know that, and you know you got to always got a spot on the Sherard show. That goes without saying.
well, thank you. You always have one on Joe today as well. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Joe.
Yeah, thank you so much.